Warning! The following video contains spoilers for part 3 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Viewer discretion is advised. I highly recommend reading/watching JoJo part 1 to 3 before watching this video anyways, so because it's good, like really good, like really good. Even if part 1 starts a bit slow, but give it a try, please. Furthermore, the following gameplay footage was incompetently recorded running on an emulator. Performance on real hardware may differ. And I think you're good to go now. I just have to... Ice Dog Lawyer, is the video titled clickbait? Technically no? Okay. We can start. Hey ho yo! Hey Ice Dog Lawyer! Why are you leaving? Apparently my address of welcome scared everyone away except the one cat somewhere sleeping on its owner's computer keyboard. A special hello to you, Mrs. Kitty Plüsch. But that will not stop me from putting out my first, and of course, best YouTube video. Starting with a basic introduction because, yeah. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a manga by Hirohiko Araki, first published in 1986 in Weekly Shonen Jump, later monthly in Ultra Jump. Enjoyed and appreciated ever since by memers and every single other life form with opposable thumbs to turn the pages. It's just important to know. I have to make that fast. Time traveling me from the past with even less knowledge about how microphones work. Just do it. It has parts, the dogs, stone masks, vampires, people with last name Joestar, not necessarily, other man, windows, man windows, ghost side punch, laser punch sometimes, best mom, door jokes, Dio, more Dio, more Dio, the BGBA, the beautiful world of the Genji samplers was sometimes not so awesome, a live action movie, that was a thing, Takabun Cups, a Luffy exhibition, promotions for everything and every media possible, even stairs, and cats, so many cool powerful cats, Killer Queen, and Stray Cat, and nothing happened to the small black cat, nothing, I said nothing, not that, nothing! Wow! Done it! And of course, not to forget, anime only fans, because man, I'm a slow reader of text in combination with good looking pictures. And of course, something this universally appealing needs an adaptation, and the first is of course a 3-part CD drama of Part 3, coming out in 1992, and it's quite something. But the next year, it should happen. On March 5th of the year 1993 followed the first actual adaptation of a JoJo part with moving visuals. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, an RPG developed by Rinky Soft and published by Cobra Team, released several months before the very first OVA anime series, only on the Super Famicom, the Japanese equivalent of a good old SNES, or SNES. A console with a controller that after careful scientific examination, I can assure even you can use, Mrs. Kitty Plüsch. The game being Japanese only, I here have to shout out the English fan translation patch by the group Aeon Genesis, released in 2013 to coincide with the very first season of the modern anime adaptation. Thanks for making this video involuntarily possible. Right at the starting screen, we are greeted by a non-interactive intro? The classic stuff. Johto is in prison after with his burning floating chicken man, Joseph when dropping the real bomb. Not only did what seems like half of the human population manifest fighting ghosts called Stans, but also Dio, the notorious arch-ancestor emperor of the family, left shipwrecked as he was trapped in for 100 years with the body stuff and Jotaro's great-great-great-great-great-grandfather. And he does stuff, and people, and is not too happy about the rest of the Joestar lineage being alive, and his swollen hand probably reminding him of his new body rejecting his head. And then the game starts. When not now is the best time to move past this childhood bedroom and gawk at the sheer amount of options you have in the menu. Like talking to people, checking things with a cursor to find items you can later use in. Yeah, items! Where you of course consume, straight up throw out or equip and unequip stuff. And a tarot option? I would not say this gets important later, but it doesn't. Maybe some professional JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for the Super Famicom player will now disagree with me about its place in the meta of the hardcore GGBA Super Famicom shopping controllers that somebody wins the fight tournament scene. TM! It's just, you can get tarot cards, you choose a character, after one tells you what item is particularly lucky for that character. When you get the item, equip it, and the visible luck stat should go up or something. Before you get too excited, Joseph briefly outlines the concept of biorhythm that has some influence on the strength of your stance if you get too stressed. A mechanic created for this game and real life. But no need to be pessimistic. After maybe best animated motherly kiss ever is collected, Jotaro finally leaves for school, giving us a unique opportunity to immerse ourselves into his life. By getting harassed by everybody just 2 steps out of home, which of course leads to, finally, an opportunity for officially explaining the combat system. Every battle starts with choosing a tarot card, not again, giving you either buffs or nerfs or just undefined changes to your biorhythm, but whatever it is, you have never seen Jotaro that much suffering. Afterwards you can unleash attacks varying in strength controlled by your invisible luck stat, shown by just as much varying fancy animations. Sometimes they miss, sometimes your stand cancels the damage out, and if that's too physically involved for you, just try reducing the enemy's MP by good old talking. No, MP is not a limited resource you could use for say special stand powers, but just another way to die by literally being shit-talked to death. Then, around 5 hours in or so, I accidentally let party members talk to each other, regenerating the MP. In classic 16-bit manner, the game keeps naturally short with explanations. Being Japanese, the few manual scans online are not that much of a help for me here, but at least good-looking pictures? Entering the school's doctor's office, and now the check option gets its importance. No, I did not forget that. It does not show you, for example, the enemy's health or weaknesses, letting you punch in the dark in a weird gamble of who survives longer. Instead, your character takes around Earth to ponder on life, then their brains might spit out a great idea to lower the enemy's defense, or maybe even making beating certain ones just possible in the first place, or just lets you use the Josuck technique, not that. And just like that, it turns into a little JoJo memory test. Woo thought woo, did they need a trick or did they just... Besides that, you will at least always get the guts option afterwards, letting you push out a slightly stronger attack by using all your guts. A short fist and emerald exchange later, Jotaro squishes out Kakui's parasite before, quote, his brain is toast. And first new party member acquired, between which you can change with a press of a button and not making that much of a difference. No different answers, or there's not that much to find anyway, besides occasional items, in my opinion, making the areas not only a bit confusing to navigate, but also a bit lacking in details. You can check, for example, people or other interesting looking tidbits in the environments, aka probably time constraints and keeping the game sizes in kilobytes because it's the year 1993 and I wasn't even born yet. At least Jotaro can use toilets? And later you can see Iggy at the ground if you switch to him, but that's in the future. Back to the... No, never, Dr. Jai. Never! Like the OVA, a video game for length of about around 6 to 8 hours had to compress some things, and stuff had to get changed, and I ironically have to do the same to make that into a video, and because I'm bad at explaining combat systems, so... GGBA, the game abridged. highlights, including a creepy janitor making questionable remarks towards minors, Tower of Grey fight happening on solid ground, and he is there just kneeling down and thinking about his life choices, apparently. I just leave you here. The one fan fiction out there where Ponewolf of all people is a library owner in Japan, instead of, say, having a small shop in France, selling chocolate and being happy and having legs. A spoiler for part 5. Rain powers are gone, party +1! Woo! Leaving the local library vacant and its medieval-style chests with all those scratched-up copies of Sims 1 and Aristocats 2 pillaged. Sorry kids. Item shops, product placements, and the Speedwagon Foundation being a time-bending hospital chain with one employee that travels after a group's sorry existence. Who am I to judge? Both with really upbeat music. Plus the 50-day time limit going down by 1 every time you hear your party there. Its relevance quite questionable. Spoiler. So many destroyed TVs. More creepy comments by random NPCs on every street corner. Imagine that turns quite nautical. Punching commences till Jotaro figures something out about his heritage and comes up with using Starfinger. Then it turns out the mansion is the ape's dance. At least no fear of fictional drowning or mishandling of children involved this time. Finally, leaving Japan behind, just to baby stand. I did not call you a burning floating chicken man, please. And Jotaro was self-conscious, staring into the abyss. Then more creepy comments. And Joseph landing a plane safely. Toilet bullying beyond the grave. The dude wrapped in a yellow acid slug as camouflage is here too, I guess. Kakuin, you sure are a lucky one. Sorry kids. Then fictional stabby ensues. Yep, after is fine. No weird eyelid thing here. Of course I could not squeeze my girl Nena in, but for real fortune is of course always time. To quote a really wise person on the internet.
Sun is a deadly laser.
Finally, stacking makes a difference. Iggy becoming the final party member after some methods totally conform with laws concerning animal cruelty and nothing else. Oingo and Boingo being passive NPCs without a splashy musical theme or even a fight. At this point I want to highlight there are not that many tracks and the SNES was a bit limited, but it tried its best. While some tracks are of course bops, I have to confess that this battle theme over and over again started to slowly gnaw on my nerves, which of course could just be a personal thing. Make it stop! I'm the person editing this, why am I like this? Moving on. The AU we all wanted. Everyone is small! Oh, who's a good little Joestar? Yes, you! His head is too big for his... An in-game card game. What a nice way of gambling away the souls of your fans just to magically win at the very last second. Jotaro, you sure are a lucky one. Alcohol so extreme that it sums vampires? What happens in Egypt stays in Egypt. Teleporting hallways. All those memories I can't suppress anymore. Sorry Kenny G, but I totally forgot about you. The outcome of this fight did not feel fair and I won. No minigame, but at least a new battle theme, so yeah! Finally Dio, come here! I approach you weird pancake face Dio wearing clothing the same color as your hair, as I would not realize that, huh? After all, the honorary Joestar. Jotaro's solution is of course to try to just loot all of Dio's chests in hopes of making him lose all his composure and him accidentally punching himself or something, and finds a time cap. Jotaro got his cool time powers from a hat. And I of course did not just run back to Dio without it to get completely wiped from memory as all things the stupid tend to. 1 million mudas later, I remembered. The booth at this one shady bar with nightmares? Giving real XP and more money than you actually pay? I'm so sorry what I'm about to do, Jotaro. I'm so sorry. He drank one glass after another. After a while he got used to fighting. The limited motions became routine, but the nightmarish faces still got him every time. He swallowed another glassful. He was the only one able to defeat this vampire that silently influenced his entire life. The group's suffering, now his entertainment. And after that, Jotaro had to move on somehow. Failure was not an option. He couldn't even shed a tear, regretting his existence. The Akko should have made him numb by now, but that did not happen. And he thought about the last time he had seen his father, never coming back from this one jazz tour 10 years ago. Another one. He started to fall for the belief that he will, for the rest of time, have to drink and fight. Can he do anything else besides living his personal nightmares? Everyone around him would have to live in danger. He told himself this was the last one. He thought about all the people that stare at him, talk about him, who will never look beyond his appearance. For them, he will never be more than what he is now, a foolish teenager, never whole, never complete. While the vomit started to move upwards to his brain, due to his mouth staying emotionlessly closed, blocking every feeling that might have distracted him from all this, he came to the conclusion that he will, with 100% certainty, die in the long run. Holly too, even if they save her now. Joseph will. And then I realized that the level cap was like 15 or something, and I already reached that like 7 fights ago, and I at least got a little money out of that. So... Finally, the perfect strategy was found. Lower Jotaro's stress to narcotic levels because... yeah. Meanwhile, Iggy is shoving shonen jump issues in his face, the rest of the group giving pep talks to just keep him going in the face of Dio's constant verbal abuse. At the same time, another character is always ready to pump the rest of the party full of healing items in case of... While all this unfolds, Jotaro thinks and thinks, puts two and two together, and what comes out? And when Dio was so shocked by this monumental punch, he lost almost all letters besides the U's, some Q's and B's. Then exactly that happens. And everyone lives, regardless if they were KO'd in this epic final battle of patience and nothing else. So I can only proclaim, wow, 16-bit Kakyoin, you sure are a lucky one. Last scenic landscape, non-stand sun peeks through the dark, welcoming a new world, bringing doom to Dio at last. Holly saved and slightly happy, at the same time shivering with her open shirt. Saved just in time, having over 20 days left or so, because time limit why? End credits. With a song. And that was the JoJo game you may or may not have heard about. I almost forgot you, Mrs. Kitty Plüsch, to answer all the questions you may have now. Should you play it? Naturally, as a licensed game, it probably does not make that much sense to play it without knowledge of the source material, especially with the idea option. The combat system is for my taste a bit simplistic anyway, having not that many attack or defense options, lacking all the cool stuff that could come with stance, and has too much focus on probabilities instead of strategy. Adding to that, the game gets extremely repetitive, extremely fast, stretching its playtime with the same burnt out vampire trio more than probably necessary. Unless you're making it even worse for yourself, but I would never do that. Plus, there are other nitpicky issues like not being able to buy multiple items at a time and problems that may be a product of a translation in any language besides Japanese. Like for example, weird abbreviated healing item descriptions without specification of how much I heal. One of the few reasons to play this game in my opinion is to see JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in 16-bit. And to wait for the more absurd story changes, which is kind of ruined by making this video. Or you just want to see Kakyoin alive at the end. No judgment! Could it nowadays be done better, even in a retro 16-bit look with more time and memory space? Probably yes. I, for my part, would really like to see another GGBA RPG. It could be really awesome. Is it a cool novelty to experience nonetheless? In my opinion, yes. But regardless of that, thanks for watching, Mrs. Kitty Plüsch. Here is a digital catnip just for you. And if that's not the start of a happy YouTube career, I don't know what is. Welcome to Ultimate Cat Lover Lifehacker, the only channel with your daily government recommended doses of quality content. No pressure, no reason to distrust the competence of our government. Just do it. I'm at subscribing. Please help, I love cats, but that's just excessive. They just let us produce cat food and nothing else. If I have to eat one more can of sticky meat, I will. We should have never taught them how to turn pages. No, don't enter my home!